How good is Satisfactory running with the new shiny RTX 3080? This is the question we want to try to answer in this video, and perhaps it will help you to decide if you want to buy this new card or not, if you want to stay with your own. And to do this, we want to make some kind of more technical video today, and because of this, we will let this technical view of my computer running Satisfactory on display, so you can see exactly what is happening with my graphic card, with my processor, and as well as the FPS of the game itself. So you can see, okay, it's going well, it's going not so well, and what can we do to make it better. So to start, we just wanna create a baseline for our testing, and for this I want to just start a new game, and doing this we will go in this place, for example, with going inside. So, and we are running right now with 4040, and as you can see, we have a nice FPS counter right now. Just to verify, we have resolution of 2560 times 1340 with all the settings set to ultra, and I think you cannot do much more to do it nicer right now. So as you can see, we are running with 140, 150 FPS. That's a nice counting, and we will go around a little bit to see if this is something that can maintain. Obviously it can. Whoops. The graphics are nice, I have to say it. It's pretty quick. I have no problem at all. Obviously it shouldn't be the case. And I hope it will be this way all the time. So it's very nice, no problem. We are running with 150, 160, 70, yes, 200, or partly. Okay, we don't want to stay this place. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have any. Oh, do I have something? Let's say. Oops. Bye. Ah, there we go. Okay. So everything is running fine. Whoop! Or not? Whoa! That was not nice. Okay. Let me in peace, please. Cool. Okay. No problem at all there. So as you can see, the GPU is running with a nice load. We are with 94. Oops. Let's see it this way. We are on 94% GPU usage. The clock is pretty high, and our power usage is okay too. We are limited with power right now, so perhaps we need a bigger power supply. Otherwise, the temperature are nice. The CPU itself is 60 degrees, something like that. The CPU is 80 degrees, a little bit hot. It's okay because my case is a little bit smaller, as you know from my other video, and perhaps I need to upgrade this, but there is no temperature throttling doing this. So it's all good. We have no restrictions and we are running well. So to see what is happening when we switch to 4K, now do this quickly. Options, video. Okay. Yeah, let me just switch to another scene. Okay. So now you can see we have a drop in the FPS, obviously, as intended, but we are still well in the FPS we need to play the game on a nice level. Otherwise, nothing happening special. So we are still on ultra settings, and as you can see, we are perfectly. It's perfectly playable. We have no problem at all running around and doing whatever we want to do. So this is absolutely nice. Okay. So 70 FPS. Well, yeah, it's okay. Come on, calm down. As you can see, it's perfectly fine. So now we have our baseline. We can try with a save game that is a little bit more heavy, let's say, on the CPU, and we can see how well it will go. So let's switch. So let's load the game, and we see us in one moment. And there we are. Yes, it is a significant drop in the FPS. As you can see, we are now running with 30 FPS, and we had 90, 70 FPS before that. We are still running with 4K. Just check it. You can see it, 4K, all on ultra. So this is alright. And now we can just make some jumps here and see how well it performs with a lot of stuff running around. This factory is pretty big, let's say this way. It has many components already inside, it's running, so the CPU has a lot of work to do, and this is something you can see in the frame rate of this too. Going down to even 20 FPS, and sometimes having some freeze inside. But this is something I am used from Satisfactory, and yeah, it has been this way all the time. I suppose there is more a problem with the CPU threading right now. I don't have the most powerful CPU, but it's an i7 with 6 cores, so it's not the baddest one also, and you can see sometimes there is freeze, sometimes we are running pretty low, but on the other hand this factory is pretty big, and there is many things going around, as you can see it yourself. To check my case, I will go to a place that is not as crowded as this place is, and we can see if there is some improvement in myself. Up with you. As you can see, we are now coming to a place that is, let's say this way, big too, but it is less saturated with machinery and stuff going on, and because of that our frame per seconds are up, running 40, 50. Yes, that's a very good number, I have to say. And even you can see it in yourself, it's even with glass and the hybrid tubes being transparent, it doesn't really affect our FPS the way it was with a smaller GPU. So this is very important to notice. For your satisfactory play, it's better to compare build worlds, so you can enjoy a higher FPS even if you have big factories. So let us go even higher in our factories to get a little bit more of an outside view. That's pretty nice. No problem at all. We are even at 70 FPS right now. So this part of the factory is obviously not as crowded as downstairs. You can see it reflected in the frames per second, but we are running at 70 FPS right now, so it's pretty good. Even looking at the different machines we have downstairs, we can see it's not very less performing right now. So 60, 70 FPS, it's still a good number, and I enjoy it really a lot. And just to remember it, we are running with 4K on Ultra, so it's not too shabby, I have to say it, and I really enjoy it. Perhaps there is some more things you can do to tweak a little bit the system, but as you can see, the GPU is still running with 75%, something like that, with a little bit more power to spend. We have the GPU clock is not too low, it's okay, it's boosting a little bit, and the CPU is doing okay too. I think the CPU is right now limiting the power of my system. Otherwise, power it's okay. We have some power limitations from time to time, but otherwise CPU temperature is high. It's okay too for me, and the system is running well. We wanna switch to a lower resolution right now to check how this performs. So let's go back to 144, keeping the ultra confirm. So just switch to the scene, so you can always see it's the same, but we are right now with 1040. We are now with 1340, and our FPS will be to say the same. So the resolution doesn't seem to affect our FPS really. We are at 70 FPS. We had 60-70 before. We have 60-70 sometimes. Now let's go. Not really. It's the same. Obviously the CPU is the more limiting factor right now, but I don't mean we can go downstairs again to see if the machine is affecting it at all. So let's jump here. And we are back to our 30 FPS we had before with 4K also. This means the GPU is not really affected with the resolution we are running right now. This is more a problem with CPU load, or perhaps the still early access version of the game. But it's still playable, it's very nice. It looks great, and you can play this way too. It just window it, as you can perhaps not see, because I have a 4K monitor, just using a Windows right now, so it is smaller in my vision. Otherwise, it's still a good play. No big problem at all. Okay, next step. What will happen if we change our options a little bit? Means if we just take our videos a little bit down, mean going from ultra to high quality. Let's try that. What will happen there? Yes, okay, and there we are. It is a little bit better. We have gained something like 10 FPS, and it's running a little bit better, so it should be this way too. We have to say this. But we still have spaces where the game is freezing a little bit, and this is common for Satisfactory too if you have bigger factories. Otherwise, nothing special. You can still play well, and honestly, I don't really see what's the biggest gain with the better options is. It's still very nice to look at, and I think we can keep it that way. Even if I push the option a little bit farther about video versus view distance ultra, this is something I want to keep. It's nicer, I think. Apply, confirm, and there it goes. So I think there's not a big difference. It's still the same FPS count, so we can keep it that way. Nothing special, all going well. So let's go upstairs again to see if we can get a better FPS when we are upstairs. Okay, let's go. Where are you? Oh, there it is. So let's take this hypertube upstairs, and here we go. And we have to go to the hypertube going on the top of our factory. Just let us pick it. Let's go. Inside we are still good, no problem at all. Very nice. 70 FPS again. It's nearly the same as we had before. So there must be something that is limiting the FPS right now, because I think graphic GPU alone would be able to do it a little bit better. But obviously the calculations needed with all the machines we have there make it a little bit slower. So now let's switch back to 4K. Sorry, video. Let's go this, keeping the high quality. Confirm. Yes, and just let's switch back to this scene. Okay. So not really better as before. We are still with 70-80 FPS. Let's say the same number as with the smaller resolution. So obviously the resolution itself is not the problem. The quality of the game may play a role, but the resolution itself is not the big problem. So we are still with 70 FPS in this place. That's perfectly okay. It's very enjoyable. We have to say my monitor is a 60 FPS monitor. It's a bigger one, 33-inch big monitor, but otherwise it's very nice. So let's go down again to the more crowded part of the factory. Just let's don't die, and here we are again. And yes, as previously observed too, we have a drop in our FPS. It's not as bad as before, but we are 10 FPS quicker as with ultra quality. But it is okay, and it's very well playable. We have some spaces hitting a freeze, but I don't think it's a GPU problem. Otherwise, it's okay to play, and obviously it's not a first-person shooter, so you don't need most FPS you can obtain. But to play Satisfactory, you can make sure it's perfectly reasonable with this new card. And let's go perhaps bit more downstairs. Let's see this place. So it is very crowded, as you can see, but more FPS is staying with let's say 20 to 30 FPS right now. It's still smooth, even it's not the best silk smooth you can have compared to the beginning, but otherwise it's not something I will say, okay, I cannot play it anymore. So the GPU is not our problem right now. I think it will be necessary to improve the coding of the game, to make some improvements and to make it a little bit better. Perhaps add some buffers that are not there right now. Perhaps add some preemptive loading of texture or something this sort. Or I don't know, perhaps something different. If you have some ideas or some comments how to make this game experience better, then don't hesitate to comment below and tell me what you can improve. And perhaps the game developer can use this video too to just check how the game is running with the new RTX 3080 on this computer, and make some improvement too. And don't hesitate to contact me if there is some questions you don't have answered right now. One last thing we can check right now is go far away from the factory to see if the performance is better when you don't see the factory itself or other things, just the environment, and we can look at it and see, okay, it's the same as having no buildings at all, as we have seen in the beginning of this video, or do we have some problems? So let's go far away. Let's take this hypertube. It will get us far on the top of the mountain, and then we can go a little bit farther away. Yes, once we have passed the big factory, it's getting better. Come on, we'll make it a little bit quicker, I suppose, in the construction. So there we are, a little bit higher position. As you can see, we have a little bit better FPS right now. But if we look at some places that doesn't have factories built in, it's a big improvement, obviously, 70 to 80 FPS. So now let's just go to this place. There is not a lot of construction there. Let's see how the game performs. It's a little quicker. Yeah, let's go. It is very smooth right now, and remembering we are still running with 4K. Just check it with high settings. Okay, so this is pretty much the same. Still running with 70 to 80 FPS. And it's not going up to the numbers we have seen at the beginning of the video with 170, 140 FPS. So obviously the factory is taking a lot of power out of the CPU and GPU perhaps too. What's going on? We have invisible plants. Oh, that's interesting. Whatever. Yeah, okay. Perhaps something the developers need to take a look at it. Otherwise, yeah, 70, 80 FPS, we don't go over really. And And this means that the CPU is really busy with the factory itself, obviously. It takes a lot of load, even if we don't see any buildings right now. Okay, we have to go away. Nothing there. Let's jump down. Yeah. Oh, we have nothing there. What? Not the right place. Yeah, I am gone. Sorry. Haha. I have you down there where I wanted to have you. Okay. Nah, okay, doesn't matter. So let's jump down. Do we have something new? No, it's still with 80 FPS. A pretty high number, but it's not as high as without factory laying around. So I would say this is maximum we can get right now. We can check just for the fun the next difference to put all of them back to Ultra right now. So let's go back, options, video, and let's put it back to Ultra. Here. It looks a little bit better, okay, but it doesn't really make difference. So that's still with 80 FPS, pretty much the same number as before. Oh, come on. Do you have something to defend myself? No, I don't. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, it's running nicely. No problem there. No freezes. Obviously, there shouldn't be any. And I think it's okay to say we are done for this video. If you have questions, don't hesitate to comment down. And perhaps you want me to test something different, I will gladly do this. Otherwise, I am Satisfactory, welcome to my world, and have a nice day.